but let's get started. And I'll be excited to introduce Mary Beth Fleming, our company's newest crown. And just really, I met Mary about a year and a half ago. I joined Purium in early summer, and one of my first moves was to go to the summit in California that year. And Mary Beth just like welcomed me into her room, into her space, and into her family. Really, she was there with her sister and her mom, and the little community of people that she had brought with her. And I remember one morning, we were getting ready to all go to the first session, and Mary Beth walked out of the room, and I think she had her hair like piled on top of her head, and there was something about the way she looked and was carrying herself. I just like stopped me in my tracks for a moment, and I was like, wow, this woman is like a queen. And she had since then has totally just like stepped fully into her queendom, and it's been so beautiful to see. Mary Beth, you have been so rock solid for our team. You have shown up so consistently. Oh, just every time you're always there, maybe not right away because you are a busy woman and a busy mama, but you are always following through with us and so consistent. And I'm so appreciative of that. Your growth since I've met you has been so full of determination and grit, and also grace and just open-heartedness. And it's been such a beautiful journey to witness unfold. I'm so honored to be a part of it. Your kind of like deliberation, you're very deliberate about setting your goals and then doing each of the steps you need to get there. And I've never seen you not hit a mark. So that's super inspiring for all of us. And you are just you're such a blessing to our team and this community and the company and this mission. And so I'm super excited to welcome you today, and I'll pass it over to you to get us officially started.
Oh, wow, Lisa, that was like tear. So
I'm choking
beautiful.
up a little bit too.
And it's just so amazing to see you over the past year and a half that we've known each other also blossom so much. And thank you for that sweet introduction. And that's just why I love this work so much, you guys. We just get to grow and blossom and evolve together. And it's not always easy. It's not always fun all the time, but over the long term, it's an amazing process to be in together. So thank you, Lisa, for that introduction. And I also just want to give some gratitude and edification to Miss Christina Aman and Sarah Rhinelander, who've been my mentors in this business. And there's no way that I would have hit Crown without their leadership and their grace. And, Robin Talla and Ashley Castro and Rachel and Rebecca Hall. And I just am so inspired by the levels of leadership on this team. And I definitely wouldn't have hit Crown without all those layers, with the people above us and below us and to the side of us that cheer us on and root us on and teach us and inspire us. So thank you, Lisa, and thank you to Christina and everyone who's helped me to get where I am today. I'm really excited to be leading my first call as a crown. So it's super exciting. And I just want to say to everyone, if I can do it, you can do it. There's no doubt in my mind. When I went to Diamond Club, that was something that Sonia Magruder looked me in the eye and she said, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And that has just stuck with me from the very, very beginning. So yeah, it's really exciting, and it excites me to empower each other to really embrace that reality that it's possible for all of us. So the purpose of today's call is going to be about the stories. We had a lot of success in our team this month. In order for me to hit Crown, Rita, my sister, hit Black Diamond, and then we had 2 new diamonds, Lindsay Shower and Stephanie Marziano. So we're going to hear stories today. We are going to hear the business success stories from January. And one of the things I love most about this business is that telling stories is truly one of the most powerful means that we have in order to influence, teach, and inspire. So we're just going to dive right into hearing the stories of success that were created last month, and hopefully everyone can take little bits and pieces of that to share, and then also bring into their own stories that we're creating here. So I'm going to dive in first and talk about my crown run for you guys. And I really want to dive into those last 72 hours of what that looked like for me. So I hit red diamond in August, and I was pretty like, okay, January is my month for crown. Like, I really mapped it out. I really had the belief. I really gave myself 3 to 4 months of re-ranking red diamond so that I was prepared to take that next big leap. And so when January came, I was just pretty like solid. I was like, this is happening. This is what I'm doing. These are the steps I'm going to take. I reached out to Christina in the beginning of the month and was like, these are the promotions I'm going to do throughout the month. This is where I need to be by the first week, by the second week, and so it felt really solid. And in previous runs, I've run into kind of blocks where it didn't feel as solid. And in the beginning of January, I got my whole team on board too. And I was just like, you guys, we're doing this. We're going crown, like this, let's do this, So it felt really empowered and really on point. And I was kind of like, I don't think I'm going to have a block this time. Like, I just think it's just going to happen, and it's going to be, like it's just going to flow through. And it was about a week before the end of the month, and I had run a little promotion for my team, and I wasn't quite where I wanted to be in points. And I reached out to Christina like, I'm getting a little nervous, but I think it's still going to happen, And then the widen your reach points came through, and it was like, it put me over the top. And I was like, oh no, Christina, we got this. Never mind. I was worried for no reason. The widen your reach promo is phenomenal. I can say that's one of the main reasons I hit crown this month, was because of so many people on my team leveraging widen your reach. And so phenomenal promotion. So I was ahead of points, and then came like Tuesday. And on average, as a team, we were bringing in like almost 5,000 points a day the whole month. And then all of a sudden it was like Wednesday, and we only brought in 2,000 points. And I was like, that's okay. We're still on pace. It's still happening. And then Thursday came, and it dropped down to 800 points for the whole day that the whole team brought in. And I was like, what's happening? Like, we're moving backwards. Oh my gosh. And so I reached out to Christina, and I'm like, yeah, I'm having the moment. I'm having the moment of doubt. And it was really beautiful, because Christina, in the very beginning of the month, she said, Mary, I know you got this, and I'm going to be here to hold your hand when you hit that moment of transition, when you think you can't do it anymore. And I was like, I got nervous. I got so nervous. I reached out to Rita. I'm like, what's happening? The points are going backwards. Like, now I'm all nervous. I need, 12,000 points to go. Is it going to happen? And then the next day came, and we had, like, it was already like about, I think it was Friday, the 29th. We were about like, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was only 300 points that came in that whole day. And it was me. I could feel it. It was like this energetic thing within me of just, I needed to shift something in myself in order to make the shift into the business of, flowing into that abundance again. And it was pretty ironic, because that Friday I ended up throwing out my neck. And so I was like physically just like in pain. I didn't want to be on the computer. And I remember I reached out to Christina, and I told her, I'm like, I kind of just want to like lay in bed and fall asleep and just let it happen, because I don't know what to do. Like, I've been working so hard, and I don't know what to do. If it, like, I've got my funnel full, I'm talking to everyone, I mapped out all the numbers. And even with all the people running on my team, I was like, we're barely going to get there. Even if all these people hit their goal, like, where are these points going to come from? And so I got into that space, right? And my dad, he came into my mind, because he always says, most people choke at the very end. And so that was like ringing in my mind. And I was like, okay, I'm not choking. Like, let's just get back onto like the train of this is happening. What do I got to shift in myself? And at that moment, that's when Sarah Rylander called me from Uruguay. And that's why I love this so much, this team of support, because I know Christina probably reached up and said, hey, Mary's needing more support. And so here we go. Now I got another layer of support. And Sarah reached out to me, and what she said to me was just, it really stuck with me. She just said, Mary, you're in that transition phase, and hitting crown, or when you hit any rank in this business, whether it's consultant or director or a diamond rank, we have to get to a point where we let go of something in ourselves that is enabling us from stepping into what we want to become. Because with every new rank, it's an initiation process. It's a new level of leadership. It's a new level of belief in yourself, belief in creating your story. It's a new part of your chapter in your story. And so she said, Mary, when we get off this call, I would just sit and meditate and really think about, is there some belief that you're holding on to where you feel like maybe you're not deserving of this, or maybe there's some fear, and to really look at that and decide if you're ready to let that go so that you can be initiated into this new crowndom. And it really stuck with me. So I stopped trying to do all the numbers, and I stopped trying to do all that, and I just went and meditated and did some deep breathing and just really got into that space of, I am deserving and this is happening. And so I got off that call and then that meditation. And then literally like 15 minutes later, I had Leslie Zann calling me. And I was like, oh, I love this team. Sarah probably reached out to Leslie Zann. This is so cool. So then I had Leslie Zann calling me, and she's super business oriented. So she walked me through all the numbers and like, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Who's running? We did all that. And then the main thing that she said to me was like, okay, now that we've got that all figured out, I just want you to take a moment to close your eyes, and I'm going to ask you guys to do the same thing. Just take a moment to close your eyes and think about whatever you put on your action plan for this month, whatever rank that you're going for, and envision it being the last day of the month or the day before, and you hit that goal. And how are you feeling? What's the music that's playing in the background? Who do you call first to say, hey, I did it? um, what's the smells that are around you? What are you wearing? All those important pieces of the celebration. And just really feel that, like, feel yourself the moment you see yourself hit that rank, and how you feel. What is that joy? What is that excitement? What are the sounds? What are the smells? Who are the people that are part of that experience, part of that story? And so she said, okay, you got that vision in your head, Mary? You got that? And I said, yeah, I got it. And she said, okay, now let that be what takes you to crown. Let that celebration be what takes you to crown. Let that joy be what takes you to crown, and just live that and embody that. And it so ties into, because Rita, my sister, she gifted me a couple coaching sessions with Tony Robbins. And the coach yesterday, we did my first coaching session. And what she said is that your brain can't decide what is actually reality and what is a vision. So you hear these stories about Olympians, how they like run it over in their heads, like they run it over, they're running through the finish line or making the jump or doing whatever, and they visualize it and visualize it. Because our brain, once we have the vision, it can't actually like decide, oh, that's reality and that's just a vision. But what creates that vision to becoming an experience is the physiology that you're feeling in your body, is then the language that you tie to that belief or that vision that actually creates the experience. And so she really got me into that. Like, how are you feeling in your body? What are the thoughts you're thinking? What are the words that are coming out of your mouth? Like, feel the physiology. How is your breath? All those things. What would it be like when you hit your goal? And then tie some language to it. And the language for me was, I am crown. And she's like, okay, so now you have the physiology, you have the belief and the vision, and you have the language that you are crown, and let that be your joyful expression of how you run through the tape. And so that was just phenomenal. And then of course, like literally 2 hours later, the widen your reach points came back in, and my points like skyrocketed, and I hit crown a day earlier. And I mean, even when I mapped it out, the points, they came in from totally random places than I thought they would. And I was crowned, and it was so amazing. And it was really that moment of just like, wow, this business, like no matter what we're going for, you're always going to come up against some kind of resistance. And that's where we get to go back into ourselves and our personal development and all the tools that we're cultivating here to really be our best selves and live the experience that we want to live and create that reality that we're trying to create. So that's kind of the nitty gritties of my crown story run. And I can be totally honest, I actually I hit Crown Saturday, but then Sunday was one of the busiest work days of my entire month because I was helping so many other people hit ranks, which was so exciting and so fun. So yeah, drop a 2 in the comments if you can relate to any of that. Any types of resistances that you've experienced coming up, or any breakthroughs you've had. I always keep in my mind in this business that when you're feeling a breakdown, you're on the edge of a breakthrough. And for me, that was Crown this month, which is super exciting. So awesome, lots of 2s. Cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much time because I have other stories that we get to hear, other running stories. So I'm going to introduce my lovely, lovely sister, Rita Jean. And she, if you guys can't already tell, we're kind of like partners in crime. We've been adventure buddies and business buddies, and just, I mean, we've done everything together from forever. And so it's super exciting to have her on this train with me, and to just, I think the thing I noticed about Rita the most in her hitting Black Diamond this month, or in January, was just this new embodiment of leadership, and really just being like, whoa, this is fun. Like, I can do this. And then just watching her take her creativity and go with it and really support her team. And really, like, Rita was also very meticulous with mapping out her run, and just like, Mary, I'm going to be here on Monday, and this is where I'm going to be on Thursday, and just like really pacing with it, and really having strategy and focus and determination, and being so consistent the whole month of just, I'm running the whole month and this is happening. So Rita, such an honor and blessing to welcome you, and excited to hear your Black Diamond story.
Thanks, Mary. Oh my God, I'm literally crying over here, you guys. Just because I'm so proud of Mary, my sister. She's my little sister. She's like 5 years younger than me, and I taught her how to snowboard. I pretty much helped raise her. You know, we've done everything together, and then she's been there for me every step of the way in my life and in my business. Sometimes she feels like an older sister because she's just so put together. And so I was just sitting here listening to her story, like tearing up. And for those of you that don't know, Mary actually is my why, or a huge part of my why. And she just came like, I'm going to Crown this month. It's happening, complete determination. And I was like, I know you are. And so I'm getting to Black this month because that's going to help you get there. And so I kind of started running with this vision of Mary being Crown, you know, and I started running from the beginning of the month. You know, I'm crying too, you guys. And I was just like, I am doing this. There is no, okay, cool, I'm going to try and support you there. It was like, I am doing this no matter what. And that really is the power of the why, right? And obviously, just like, what the why that makes you cry, right? So I'm like on the verge of tears right now, just talking about it, thinking about it. And it's because I love my nephews so much too. And I'm just like so proud of my sister for stepping into herself and her belief in herself and just doing it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to show up all the way too. And some of my breakthroughs kind of leading up to last month were like, you know what? I have some points that I'm not that strong in this business, as we all do. And I just decided to own those and claim those and be like, actually, I'm going to completely shift my mindset around those and just be like, these are fun and easy, and I can totally do these things. And a lot of that was like helping my team in their own leadership, you know? And so I went into the month just with this new level of confidence of like, I am doing this and this is fun. And those things that I used to be like, oh, I'm not so good at that, I just completely flipped it and was like, yeah, this is easy. So I think mindset has a lot to do with it, in that aspect. And, you know, I just went in with like complete commitment and started to see like, okay, here's how I'm going to support my structure. And all of these things just started coming in because when we make a decision, we're so supported. So if I would have been like, okay, maybe I'm going to do this, I wouldn't have been so supported by the universe. But instead I was like, I am doing this. And I just had like brand partners pouring in, like people that I'd been in conversation with and had been talking to for a while, but all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I'm signing up right now. And I'm like, what? And I had like 3 brand partners sign up on one day who I didn't even know were wanting to sign up. They were just like, literally, it was the universe like working with me because I was so committed, you know? So that's kind of the magic of a run, is when it's just like, I'm doing this and thank you for the support. And I'm so grateful that this is happening. And I stayed in that mantra of like, thank you and gratitude, and I am so deeply supported. And that was part of my daily run, was that embodiment practice, and like embodying such deep levels of peace and deep levels of gratitude and deep levels of unconditional love. And then the other parts of my run were like getting very strategic and like helping my people and doing my points daily. And wherever we focus our energy, that's what's going to grow, you know? So I was constantly like looking and checking out my back office, and I was always ahead of pace in my points throughout the month, which was really amazing. And I kind of like ran so hard in my first 2 weeks that mid-month I was like, okay, I need to take a couple days and just have like reset, go in nature, go play, personal self-care. And then I was like ready to keep going again, you know, with my full focus and commitment. And it's like Mary was saying, you have that breakdown before you have that breakthrough. And that actually happened to me mid-month. And I was like, I think this is going to happen, you know, but I'm not totally sure. And I knew that I was getting tested personally at a personal development level, because I was shifting and I was about to have a breakthrough in my own leadership. And that's what happened. And the next, you know, day, as I kind of came to my own self limits, the next day, it was just like this openness and this expansion. And I was like, okay, this is why we do this work, is to have like those kind of almost breakdown moments turn into a breakthrough of our own personal growth. So that was really beautiful. And then like Mary, it was maybe 5 days before the end of the month, and I had always been ahead of pace. And then suddenly my points were down by half. And I was like normally bringing in like 2,500 points, and I had brought in like 1,000 points. And then the next day, like 1,000 points. And then the next day, like 300 points. And I'm like, oh my God, is this going to happen? And I was laughing when Mary was telling this portion of her story, because I was thinking of her too, like, oh my God, it's moving backwards. And then again, like went into that trust space. And by the end of that day, where I'd only had 300 points, I ended up having 4,000 points at the end of that day. So it's just kind of like so beautiful what can happen. And I love Mary's energetic shift, because I could feel her tensing up a little bit and being like, oh man, I don't know. And then I felt her when she was like, oh, I just needed to surrender and take care of myself. And then boom, in that moment, it's like the points started flooding back in. So that's why I love this business. It's so much of reflection work, of inner work and external work. So it's just beautiful. And then I hit my rank, you know, before the end of the month, and was able to just really support the rest of my team. And Lindsay Shower, I'm really excited to introduce her, because her run to Diamond was incredible, and like witnessing all of the leadership that came together was just beautiful. And so I want to take this time to introduce my dear sister, Lindsay. And we've been, you know, we were art students together in college, and we, you know, climbed mountains, climbed rocks and stones, and been on adventures together, and just like been yoga sisters for, you know, probably 13 years. So she's just family deep, deep family to me, and watching her own process of growth and transformation has been so rewarding. And so, Lindsay, I'd love to hear your story on your diamond, and just thank you so much for being here, sister, through all of it. I love you.
Thanks, Reed. Oh man, that's hard to top now. Yeah, it's been, wow, what a journey. And hearing both of your stories, I'm like, it brings back the emotions. So from the beginning of the month, I guess I gave it a couple days, and Rita reached out and said, "Do you want to do this? You gonna run for Diamond?" And I just said yes without even thinking. I knew it was going to work because I had the time, and so I didn't have an excuse anymore. And my daughter went back to public school. I'd been homeschooling her, and I have another side business. And so the time wasn't working out for me until Rita asked me that question. It literally was in the same day. So I live in Colorado, and we've been like having a drought this winter, and it hadn't snowed in a while. And that night I went to bed and it started snowing. I went to, shut the house down for the night, and there was little diamonds all over, and I knew it was happening. So I got good sleep and started first thing in the morning, just starting to take it serious. And I hadn't in so long. I hadn't taken my business serious. I hadn't been on the calls. I hadn't been using the tracker sheet. I hadn't been filling out my why. So I did it all. I was like, it's got to happen. I need to get organized. And it was kind of a scramble. And I'm, hot mess by nature. So it was a big challenge, but I want to be organized, and I want that out of my life. So I spent the month really kind of dialing that and showing up for my team, because they were like right there with me. Every time I had resistance, I felt them just holding my spine up, and Mary and Rita holding my hands. So we had a lot of fun through the month, and, did a lot of interviews and all that, and all the Widen Your Reach, and it was amazing how everyone got so into it, and we got confident. And the last kind of 72 hours, I felt it like, I really felt everything coming to a head, and the doubt started creeping in. I smashed my computer accidentally. I stepped on it, and the last week, so I was without a computer. Cha-ching. Now I have to do it. I had some co-parenting challenges come up that just rocked my emotional world and really distracted me. It started snowing a little more, so all I wanted to do was run to the mountains and just ski all day. But it was really my team that just kept me aligned. It was everyone's motivation, and seeing these other people just flourishing in their own purpose. And so I had no choice. I knew it. We just had to do it. And I think I quit 2 times in the last 72 hours. I sent a message and was like, this is it. I can't do it. I've reached my limit. And then the Widen Your Reach points came in, and I was like at 85%. I was like, all right, there's no way. I'm not competitive. I just don't like losing. So there's no way this is not happening. So we figured it out. Mary and Rita were just like, we were on text all the time. Like every time any points came in, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And I got so emotionally disturbed for like, is it going to happen? This is going to happen. And back and forth, that the last kind of 2 days, I turned myself into just this vessel, and I just let all the emotions happen, and I felt them, and I just stayed so centered and just trusted that it was going to work out, and the stress wasn't adding to it. And, kept checking in with everyone that I needed to check into. And I had no control. So why stress, and just stay so centered. I'm doing everything I need to do. I'm trusting in this. And it was like birth. It felt like just, you know, I was rocking back and forth and kind of just holding that space and just allowing it to happen, accepting the abundance. And I got into some really nice meditation. There was one day I was so wiped out, I just laid on the floor and just felt it all, let myself just feel everything. And then the last like 12 hours, Debbie going out to dinner with her husband for his birthday. I was like, wait, what? I'm like counting on every single point. How are we going to figure this out? So I think I did the calculator like 700 times. And she came back early from dinner and got the points in, and it was like classic 11th hour Lindsay shower, and the points just came in. But yeah, it was really beautiful, and in trusting myself, trusting the process, shedding my doubts. I knew every time I felt the doubts coming in, it was just exhaustion. I just needed to step away, go outside, go to bed. And then as soon as I wake up, you know, it's fresh and I'm ready and I'm super inspired. It's so true when you just stay in momentum that it's so much easier. So yeah, I guess listen to your upline, because all the steps are there. And if it's challenging inside you for your own resistance. Trust and surrender to the flow.
Yeah, Lindsay, that's really great. And there's something that you said that really stood out to me that I'd love if you could elaborate a little more on. Is you said, you know, your daughter went back to school and you're like, so I didn't have any more excuses anymore. And it's so true. I find that we put these limitations on ourselves, and we're like, we use them as excuses, and we're like, oh, I can't because of this. And then that's good now, but then something else comes in, and oh, I can't because of this. So I'd love for you just to elaborate a little bit more on that. When you said like, I didn't have any excuses anymore, what did that feel like stepping into that space of, I am taking full responsibility for this? Yeah, how was that shift for you?
Yeah, I guess I was pretty maxed out, you know. I was doing like the full-on homeschool, amazing Oak Meadows Waldorf program, by the way, if anyone's looking for something cool, but it wasn't for me. So when I came home one day, just like full of, I don't even know, I like lost it on some dude that flipped out at my dog. And it was totally, the dog should have gotten punished or whatever, a talking to, but I realized I'm like reacting from whatever. And so my partner said, what if Percy goes back to school? And as soon as he said that, everything kind of came down. I was like, oh, I know why I'm stressed. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I just needed to step away from that. So as soon as I found, you know, as we put her back in school, it's like, I've got all this time. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. Okay, this is what I want to do. And it was crystal clear. I just stepped right into it, and I made time for all the meetings. And, you know, the excuse I had before was I wanted to be present with my daughter, you know, and it's really easy to come up with an excuse, you know, to not be on the phone. But once I made that step, and then I, you know, went into the accountability by being public about it, you know, I felt like just, that was it. I was trusting, I was going along the path, and alignment was there.
Beautiful. Well, so much congratulations to you. Lindsay is their diamond, and she's got green diamond on her tracker or her action plan this month. So I'm just excited to see you continue to roll with that momentum and continue to see the diamonds. So thanks for sharing. And now I'm going to bring on Miss Anna Roberts, who's also a diamond, and she's going to introduce Miss Stephanie, who is our other diamond of January. So Anna, come on.
All right. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. Congratulations to you, sisters. Yay. It's so cool that we all knew each other pre-Purium, and I'm just thinking about all the memories and how inspiring each of you were even before this business. So thanks for just continuing that on. Yes, so it is my complete honor to introduce to you one of my dearest friends, not only in this business, but as a friend as well. And wow, she has just jumped over every hurdle that you could think of. And she just continues to shine so bright. Her eyes show it. Every time I think of how bright this beautiful woman is, I just think of her eyes, and that just, she embodies her brightness in her eyes, and her like when she looks at you, and she's really there with you. She's really there with everyone she talks to, even if it is over the internet. And I feel like that is a big contribution to her success in this business, is her presence. So, well, let's see. Let's start with when Stephanie first came onto Purium. It was she was a customer of mine for several months, and she became probably one of the biggest fans I've had of the products. And so I knew, I was like, it's just all about timing with this one. She'll get it. And we did the whole like, Stephanie, I'm almost out of my power shake. I'm almost out of my aminos. And we drop off, at each other's houses. And so I knew that she got it. She understood the frequency of the company from even a customer. And she just went from there. She was ready when she was ready, and I allowed her that space. And ever since, she has been, I would say, climbing up, even though maybe it wasn't as fast as she saw it happening at first. However, she did hit the fast start. So what am I saying? She got the fast start director, fast start executive, and really like showed me with her story what was possible with this company. So yeah, just without any further ado, I'm so excited to get Stephanie, our brand new diamond, on here. She is an amazing mother, single mother to a teen boy. And she has, again, like I said, endured many obstacles over this past month of running. So I'm really excited to hear the story from you, Stephanie. Come on.
Oh, thank you, Anna. You made me tear up. All you ladies making me cry. Thank you so much. So my run was quite different than most of the other runs that I'm hearing. I said I was going for diamond, but part of my story has been that I've been straddling two worlds, as I call it, still kind of latching on to this old, belief in or illusion of like we have some kind of safety or security. And so I was used to the 9-to-5 and big paychecks, but a soul-sucking job. So I said I was going for diamond, but I didn't really believe it yet, if I'm really being honest with myself. And I was in graduate school, I was enrolled. And then I got COVID. And I feel like that was I know it was a complete gift. And just like everything else, it was the universe supporting me. I needed that experience because I ended up having an opportunity to slow down and also witnessing my body just completely heal in 4 days' time. And that story, I had to share it with everyone because I was floored. I had previously had a horrible immune system. And so I had this really powerful story and I just wanted to share it with everyone. And so that's what I did. And so as soon as I came out of quarantine, so we're talking like halfway through the month, in the 11th hour, all of a sudden I was like, that's it, I'm doing this. And if I'm honest too, my team, like Camille, I have this like fire woman on my team and I'm like, look at all these points. And all of a sudden I saw like diamond could totally happen if I just get my butt in gear and get my structure in place. And so I showed up on the calls, I shared my story, I just got fired up. And on the calls, I finally was like taking what, I think it was Tala did a training and was like, you want to just build your business and build that momentum. These are the things that you do. And like, I pulled out all the stops. I was, texting family. I had done a campaign, but I really started pushing my campaign. I did a raffle of I Can't Beat This if you order on Saturday and Sunday, and I maximized on your reach. I helped my sister's business that I had signed up hit UBT. So I did all the things. But the biggest, most profound part of my story, which is kind of like some of these other stories we're hearing, it was, of course, the personal growth. Like, it's making me tear up right now because that's why I chose this business. I saw it clearly. And in that moment that I made the decision to do this business, I knew that it was going to push me in ways that I had never experienced before, and that it was going to force me to rise. And there was I hit that fast art director, and I took some months where I like froze and wasn't really talking to people. And something just shifted in me where I was like, I am doing this, and I'm going to believe in myself, and I'm going to believe in my dreams, and I'm just going to make it happen no matter what. And I claimed it. I was on an accountability call, on a Wednesday call, and I remember the moment I said it, I still remember how it felt when I was like, I'm hitting diamond, and Wellness in Motion, my sister's business, is hitting fast art director, and it's happening. And then I wrote in my journal every night, like, Stephanie, I'm so proud of you. You're diamond, you're diamond. I felt it in my body. I looked in the mirror and told myself everything I needed to hear. And there were moments where it got crunchy. And in those moments, I put music on, and I put the essential oil diffuser on, and I moved my body and shook it out and did what I had to do. And I just stayed in the frequency. And really, I used to kind of think it was like this cliche, like you just get out of your way and then it all happens. And truly, like, that's what happened. I just started having the conversations. I stopped caring about rejection. I didn't let my ego get involved. And I think a huge part of that was I just believe so strongly in what we have to offer, for the product and the business. But really, my transformation story was so powerful for me to see not just, my immune system do exactly what it was supposed to do, but also to witness the way my mindset was in helping me heal through COVID. And so I got in the frequency of abundance, and I kept saying, I have an abundance of time and energy, and the universe is pouring its abundance all over me. And it was really funny, the last weekend, the weekend of the run, in the last weekend, I was like, this is going to be such a busy weekend. And I was like, don't think like that. My sister decided to record 2 of our dance videos. I do an annual dance performance, and we weren't sure when we were going to record. And everyone was like, this is the weekend we have to do it. And I was like, the weekend that I'm going for diamond? And I caught that scarcity, like, creep in and be like, there's not enough time. And I was like, nope. We're not going there. And so, you should have seen me. I ran home and went live with a full face of makeup looking ridiculous one night because I had to get those wide in your reach points. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I was like, do it, just do it. In between, I was having conversations and then jumping on video, just everything. Every second that I had free time, I knew I had to push, and I had to push myself. And so that's what I did. I just filled in every moment that I had with having those conversations. And that's the thing, is I got on the phone with people too, is I still took the time to be present in those conversations where I wasn't grasping or reaching. I was legitimately connecting with that person and finding that presence and really feeling like I was helping them. So it's anytime it started to feel graspy, I just would bring it back in and reel it in, take a hot bath for a second, and do what I had to do. So that's really my diamond story. And so I'm just really grateful for my team, because had they not, gotten me to that place points wise, I don't want to ride that anymore. I've got to do what be consistent the way they are. They inspire me. So yeah, that was my run.
Yay. Awesome, Stephanie. And man, so many golden nuggets there. I think the number one thing that I took from all of these shares is the making the decision of just I am doing it. I'm not having one foot in, one foot out. Even when it gets hard, I'm going to figure out how to reset, regroup, not give up, but still, I'm doing this. And the power of decision is so potent in this business. I would love to hear from you all too, if you're listening, write in the chat some of your takeaways from these shares and what that you've learned from these different people's stories, because the beauty of this business is that we now have these stories to share. We can share our own stories, and we can also share other people's success stories. And we can also remember the bits and pieces of when we're going for our diamond run, or we're going for our director run, and we feel like we hit a block, like one of these women spoke about, and what they did to move through it. So this is super powerful. So I'm seeing shift your mind. When you run into blocks, take a step back and regroup. Don't run away, run towards, claiming it, believing it, be happy and clear the hurdles, keep going, and don't take your eyes off the crown, the power of decision, deep belief in what we have in the business and the product. So yes, it really, I think the ability to make the decision is when you really feel that, Leslie Zan calls it the bulletproof armor, where you're like, I so believe in the service I'm providing for people. I so believe in the work that I'm doing that I can say yes fully to this. And that's when the magic of this business happens, is when we really step into that space of yes, and I'm going to get out of my own way and stop making up excuses, and just, again, also trust. So Rita, I would actually love to have you come back on for a second, because there's something you said about when you were hitting your breakthrough moment, where you just went back into trust. And we talk about that a lot in this business of like trusting the process. So can you elaborate a little bit more on what that means and what that looks like for you?
Thanks, Mary. Yeah, so I kind of had this breakthrough realization one day when I was surfing, and I had felt moments of like non-abundance consciousness, like feeling a little bit restrictive. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is not going to get me anywhere. And I just started realizing and shifting that into, there is so many ways we can help people, and so much opportunity, and I just shifted my kind of lack momentary thinking of like when we're in doubt or something into abundance. And, surfing for me is something that gets me there. And so I just I was with the waves and I saw the whole horizon of the ocean, and I just took it all in. And I was listening to this beautiful speech today. It was some Tony Robbins coaching. And he was saying that the most successful people spend 40 to 70% of their time in that being mode of being in the zone. So it's not like this urgent, oh my God, I have to do this. It's like in our center. And, that can be time with family. That can be time in nature. That can be, going in your exercise, but just embodying that so that when you do get into those moments of doubt, because a breakthrough, in order to get to our own next level of our self-development, in order to break through our own limits, we're going to have to experience those limits. And so very much to me, it's a process, just like in cleansing, when you're really eliminating what isn't serving you anymore at like a physical level or an emotional level. That's what the business transformation is, where you're literally letting go of what isn't serving you anymore so that you can step into that next level of greatness. And to experience what isn't serving us anymore can be so uncomfortable. So just remembering, I am releasing, I am letting this go. Thank you so much. Staying in that gratitude, and maybe going on a walk, maybe taking a nice hot bath, maybe, whatever that is, to just reconnect to the true state of the universe and the true state of nature, which is abundance. There is no lack in nature. There's so, if you look at a fruit tree, it's just so much fruit, you can't even eat it. Right? So just maintaining in that mentality and that relationship with your business, and when you're prospecting, and when you're all of the aspects, and when you're working with your team, all of it, just maintaining that relationship to abundance feeling and mindset. And however you got to get there at an experiential level, do it, and then remember it and embody that in those moments when it's hard.
Yeah, powerful, Rita. And I just want to take a moment to like, nature's true essence is abundance. Like that is so powerful. If we can just all remember that our true essence is abundance. And that's why this business model is so amazing, because it really is the way that it even works. And it's a model of abundance. And that is us getting back to our true nature. So of course we're going to have bumps in the road. I even loved what Brandon Oshoden said on the call last night of like, you know, when you're building muscle, you actually have to break the muscle down in order to build the muscle. So in order to get to somewhere you've never been, we've got to break down the limiting beliefs and the patterns and the whatever to build up. And so that is just so powerful, Rita. Thank you for sharing that. And I would also say, beyond the amazing personal development that all these women have done during their runs, is also the leveraging of the promotions. And the promotions we have going right now are completely abundant in nature. The widen your reach is like golden free points. And the more you go live and the more you share your voice, the more you're bringing members into your network. So the widen your reach, I can't emphasize enough how that fueled my crown run and fueled the runs of all these people. So if you're not doing the widen your reach yet, I would say jump on the bandwagon, because it's the abundance bandwagon. And, you know, reach out to your upline. If you're scared, you're nervous, know that you're on the edge of a breakthrough, because anytime we do something where that's a little bit uncomfortable, we're moving to a new level of growth. We're accessing something different. So widen your reach is super powerful. And then the second promotion that we have that is completely abundant is UBT, the Ultimate Business Transformation. And one thing that I didn't add in about my story, but that Sarah told me on that call I had with her was, well, you know what you should do, Mary, is you should just hit UBT on your last day. And I was like, oh man. And she's like, now think about the story you would create, and think about how the shift you would make from feeling stuck into like creating that shift of hitting the UBT, and how powerful that would be. And so I didn't hit the UBT, but I got one of 3 in that 2-day period. And Rita hit the UBT to get to where she wanted to go. And so the UBT again is just another way to fuel the abundance of this business and bring in the free points and bring in that momentum that brings in more of that energy and ability to get excited and just say yes. Because like Lindsay said, when you're in momentum, it is so much easier to do this business. It's when we get stuck, like from my crown one, that moment where I felt like I was getting stuck and I just didn't want to do anything. It was because I was doubting the momentum. And then as soon as I got back into the momentum, it was like, oh yeah, of course I'd hit my goal a day early because I'm in the momentum. And Christina Amon always makes this analogy of, if you're trying to ride a bike and you're just trying to ride it really slow, you just fall over and you end up kind of hurting yourself. And then you end up actually having low confidence and all these things. And like, oh my gosh, I can't ride a bike because I fell over and I hit the rock and, you know, or whatever. But when you get on that bike and you start pedaling and you start to feel the wind in your hair and you're like, whoa, this is happening. I'm doing this. And I've had this experience with my son who's 3, he's learning to ride his bike. And I see that confidence in him of just like, wow, he's really riding the bike and he's really doing the thing and he's really building off the momentum. So if there's anything that I got from the crown run and these shares from the women is, number 1, make the decision. Decide if you're really ready to say yes, and say yes for yourself, if not anything else, you know, like get really into your why of, why am I saying yes? And why am I committing to this? And why am I excited about this? And why am I celebrating this new business venture, this new way of operating, this new abundance in my life? Number 2 is learn to share your story. So as you can tell from this call, when we share our stories, it's really a great way to catch people's attention. And it's really a great way to engage us. And we're much more likely to absorb the message when it has meaning behind it, and stories give meaning. So when you're out there doing the Widen Your Reach promotion, think about the stories you can tell of that, the breakthroughs that you're having, maybe the success stories you've had. Maybe you just hit consultant for the first time. What did that feel like? What did that take? Why is that exciting? talk about the story, because when we present simply about facts and figures, it's a lot less easy to emotionally engage and emotionally connect to it. And in order to have that full body yes, it really is that story that allows us to have that experience. So my prompt for all of you listening to this call is, right after this call, go live. Maybe go live about something you learned on this call. Maybe go live about something that inspired you on this call, or go live about your story thus far. Take the bits and pieces from these stories that were shared today and say, what piece of my story have I not shared yet? Or what piece of my story that could I dig in a little bit deeper to and share? Because it's going to inspire someone, it's going to engage someone, and it's going to take you to that next level of, wow, this is the story I am creating. So make the decision, share your story. And then the last thing I would say is just really be present with the process, you guys. This is a business of flexibility. You can see that all these ladies took it upon themselves to be really creative in their runs. So they ran their own promotions. They figured out different ways to reach out to people. They figured out different lives to do. Stephanie was dancing and doing lives and doing whatever, So get creative, get flexible, and just stay present with what's happening in the process. Because in order to get to where we want to go, we also have to recognize what's happening right now and be in gratitude and do the things. Do the widen your reach, do the UBT, lean up to your team, be in the back office, do all the things, have fun with it, and stay in that space of celebration and joy of accomplishing whatever it is you're trying to accomplish here and really embodying that. So that's what I wanted to say for today. Does anybody want to, Erica, I saw you had your hand up. I'm not sure if you meant to do that, but you can totally pop on for a second if you had something to share. Maybe she didn't. Oh.
No, that was an accidental hand, but since you called me out, I just want to echo that this was so moving and so inspiring. Super proud of you ladies, and thanks so much for leading today.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you everybody so much. And I look forward to seeing your lives right after this call and your takeaways of something that's inspiring you. I will post in the the Superfood Social Business page on Facebook, a little blog post that says, say your takeaways from the call today. And thanks for taking the time to be here and just talk story and share stories and celebrate all these amazing women and their growth. So thank you, everyone. Drop a 2 in the comments if you're going to go live. All right. Drop a 3 if you're going to hit UBT at least once this month. All right. Awesome. Okay, everyone. Have a beautiful day.